So Sam, Greece and Turkey, they had a meeting in Istanbul just this Monday. It was widely covered by the media, and now they're going to have a second round of talks in Athens. So can you just start by telling us what these meetings are about and why are they important?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we did cover this in our previous video. If you're looking for the details on the recent flare-ups between Turkey and Greece, so hopefully, if anybody is interested, they can check those out for the details. But basically, the disputes date back to formation of Greece and Turkey as nation states, and the disputes are over the territories in the Aegean Sea, which uh, Greeks claim that because of international law, which they are signatory to, they can uh, they can claim basically they are saying that their islands should be counted as the mainland Greece, and therefore the water surrounding those should be based on international law, be part of Greece. Turkey disputes that, obviously, because some of Greek islands are very close to Turkey. Some of them are closer to Turkey than to Greece, and says that if we do that, then Aegean Sea will be a Greek lake, basically. So that's the Turkish position. But the disputes are over the waters in Aegean Sea, and they've been going on for many many years. I think they had negotiations from 1970s to 1999. They fell apart, but then they started. And from the year 2000 onwards, the relationship between Greece and Turkey has had improved, and Greece was actually one of the countries that was pushing for Turkish uh, joining of the EU originally, not in recent years, because they saw that as a way to, if Turkey and EU have better, closer relationships, then they can, then it's better for Greece as well in terms of economy, in terms of trade, all of that, because they're neighbors. So, they've had a it's a long-term conflict. It's been going on for years, but the talks fell apart, I think, in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. The talks have been frozen or suspended since then, and this is a resumption of those talks. Both sides have been somewhat positive. Greeks said that they hope that Turkey has a spirit, enters the negotiations in good spirit. Turkish foreign minister said that he hopes that Greeks understand that this conflict could be a casus belli, if I'm not mistaken, which means a cause for conflict. So we should try to compromise and all that. So both sides seems to be ready to compromise, and it's important to note that I think the recent flare up and the subsequent negotiations and peace talks is somewhat due to the fact that there has been discovery of gas in the Mediterranean Sea. So that's really uh, sped up the conflicts, the uh, tensions, the problems between the two countries.
Yeah, definitely. So I had a few questions for you, but I think you've answered a
Sure.
few of them. But one of them where you were talking about the islands and how many Greek islands there are. So apparently there are thousands of islands. And so just to recap kind of what you were saying to understand properly according to
So
international sorry?
mostly uninhabited, like
Yeah.
they basically rocks in the water.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Okay, and yeah. And according to international law, even the same distance that is applied to normal borders of a country apply to your islands. So everything from there becomes and so apparently they
I
extended the radius, I'm not mistaken, right? Just last week, uh Greece said that it's
they
extending the radius of how far of the water it includes as part of its territory, right?
I get, yeah, that was, I assume that was part of the Greek. They have passed the law that they're gonna push the maximum level of
Yeah,
basically
which is
uh,
12.
recognition, which is the international law is based on the from the coast,
Mhm.
right? Like I think it's 18 kilometers or 14 kilometers from the coast, I forget. But so they're saying that those islands
Yeah.
coasts are also should be viewed the same as a mainland
Mm-hmm.
coast. So, but the thing is, Turkey is not a signatory to that treaty, to the
Yeah.
treaty that does. I think Turkey and US are the only countries that are not a signatory. So, I'm not sure on that. So don't quote me on that. But so that's the issue. That's the main issue.
Yeah. Okay, and then, so I mean, you touched on these points, but anything else you want to add? So I want to ask you about the history of the talks a little bit. They didn't really start right now, but I guess they've always been over maritime issues. And why now, which you kind of touched on, right, is because of the discovery of the gas reserves, really, that are pushing the two countries to have talks right now.
Yeah, to be honest, the old problem for this issue was for this dispute was that the fact that Turkey wanted to talk about all the issues it had with Europe in one series. It's kind of like similar to Iranian US thing that at different times different parts wanted to negotiate but on different issues. Turkey wanted to negotiate about all disputes it has with EU. Greece wanted to just talk about this dispute because they don't have any leverage. Like if they start talking about everything that EU has problems with Turkey, then EU might compromise Greece for some interest somewhere else, right? That was the old issue. But then Greece, it seemed, came to realization that they should just generally support Turkey's ascension to the EU and all that, because that would you know, that would benefit them in the long. If Turkey sees that it has access to Europe, it might not be, if it becomes part of EU, basically, then it's not a, it's they're all not that EU is a super complete super state, but they share a lot of things. The borders will be more of a legal thing than an actual thing. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I forget which year was it, but for example, one of the times that there was a confrontation that could have led to a complete war was between EU's security for Frontex, if I'm not mistaken. They used airplanes to fight, to fight uh, smuggling, that type of thing. And they came into contact with a Turkish Navy ship. They gave them warnings or something. They said, or a helicopter. So, the problem is largely Greece realizes that it's a smaller player compared to EU and Turkey. So that was the history of it. That originally the problem was that Turkey wanted to talk about everything. Greece just wanted to talk about the sea. So there was no talks. Then Greece started supporting Turkey somewhat, but then EU sort of shut it down. They said pretty much they made it clear Turkey is not going to be part of the EU. And so I guess now, with the discovery of gas and all that, the issue has flared up again. And oh, by the way, it's important to mention that the Turkish foreign minister also said that if EU put sanctions on Turkey, that would ruin everything. So I think everybody's realized that EU-Turkish relationship is very much connected to the Aegean Sea dispute, and in many ways they are negotiating against the EU, not so much Greece.
No, that's a very good point. But also, just one thing I wanted to add. So you talked about how before Turkey wanted to talk about everything. Even now they're hinting at, we want these negotiations to be about more, and apparently they specifically want to even talk about ownerships of the islands, which were decided on some previous treaties, but and the Greeks don't want to
Oh,
talk about that at
yeah,
all,
yeah,
really.
I see what you. No, I thought that would be, yeah, that's part of the Aegean dispute
Yeah,
as
oh
far
really?
as the
But I've
Turkish
heard
side.
that the Greek, I mean, okay, from the Turkish side, yeah, exactly. So they've narrowed it down, but the Greeks are like, I mean, that's settled, right? We can talk about maybe how much of the water, right? That's maybe where, or who can do the drilling.
Yeah.
They don't want to go as far as talking about the ownership of it. Okay, but yeah, and then when you were talking about, back then the hopes of Greece with Turkey joining the EU and stuff, that was really a different world. 10, 15 years ago. That will not
Yeah.
happen. But okay, so you mentioned Europe a little bit. So I also heard some reports, just read a little bit here and there, that Europe might be softening its stance towards Turkey. Is there any truth there?
Yeah, it seems both sides have made concrete efforts to de-escalate the tensions. I mean, I think it was last week or a week before that that there were reports that um, uh, Recep uh, Erdogan had contacted French Prime Minister, French President, his arch rival Macron, because they have a very tense relationship. Erdogan has called him mentally he said he has mental problems, blah blah blah. He called him, and apparently he's gave his condolences for some of the terrorist attacks in France. And apparently Macron wrote a letter calling and the letter started with dear Rajab or Rakeb, I don't know how you pronounce his name. So it's getting very lovey-dovey there. And yeah, the talks of sanctions have somewhat, there's not so much talk of sanction anymore, basically. And Turkey is not doing as much military exercises or as much, they don't go around this Aegean Sea, or they don't get close to islands as much as they did before. So yeah, I think EU and Turkey are both making concrete efforts to de-escalate the tensions, which is in the benefit of both sides.